Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. She is back. She's got so much insight to being mindful and moving your life forward in a very productive, peaceful way. She's the owner of Healthy Mindful Self. She's a certified mindful meditation teacher. She is Dr. Lisa Nezneski, and she's back with us. Lisa, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine, Steve. How are you today?
Doing well, doing well. And if you would ask me what we're going to talk about, I don't know.
I don't either.
That's exactly what we're going to talk about. I don't know. It comes
Yes,
in line
exactly.
with being
I'm trying
afraid.
to be funny.
Yeah, but it's the truth. We are going to talk about I don't know. Who's on first? Where it's okay to say I don't know in many different situations, especially when it even comes down to meditation. Are you doing it right? I don't know. Right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So I was explaining that I have a couple of little sayings that I've cut out of a Zen calendar from a couple of years ago, and I have them on the back of my door. And I'm having remodeling done in the house. So I was pulling off all of these little things and just moving things around. And the first one says, whatever inspiration is, it's born from a continuous I don't know. And that's Wisława Szymborska, who wrote that one. And I was saying to you that my last name, Nezneski, was originally Neznioska, which means I don't know.
Literally, truly.
Literally, right, right. So, when you're named in the patriarchal way, um, typically the child takes the name of the father. And so this child, many generations back, was named Neznioska, which means I don't know who the father is.
Can't make that stuff up.
Yeah, exactly. Neznam. We don't know. Yeah.
So did you save that because it's loosely connected to your name, or it's just a coincidence that you saved that, Zen calendar entry, just because it's interesting that people feel that they need to know the answer?
It's a yes and. Um, I was I was at the opening ceremony for the mindfulness certification program, and Jack Cornfield, one of my teachers, was saying how it's okay to not know. It's okay to say I don't know when you're in meditation. Like, am I doing this right? Is this supposed to be what's happening? And I identified with that so greatly, and it felt like a generational healing moment to
Hmm.
me, that it was acceptable and okay to be and I don't know.
Put that into a real world situation. Are we referring, Lisa, to somebody trying to meditate, not really being sure if they're doing it right? And if somebody were to say, do you know how to meditate? I don't know. Like, being very honest, I don't know. I think I do. But if you ask me that, that's what my answer would be. Truly would be. I don't know.
Yes. Yes, exactly. When you come to meditation with a fresh mind, each experience can be different. So you end up with a beginner's mind. So each time, if you approach it fresh, it can be different. And sometimes it's a rich, amazing, in-depth experience. And other times it's very superficial where your mind can't get quieted. Both are
Mhm.
fine. It happens. But if you approach it as this is going to be an experience rather than trying to force an experience, it will be a lot better in the long run.
I can recall two times where I meditated. Not that I meditate a lot, I should, but it was out of necessity. It was at to the point where I had been very stressed out, and I just said, I need a moment. I need time. And actually fell asleep. But I know I was in a very solid meditation, because I woke up maybe 15 minutes later. It wasn't even, a nap or anything like that. Amazingly refreshed. Like I had 10 hours of sleep. And there's no way that could have happened unless I purged everything out of my mind and reset everything. And that's where I found and I could tell you where I was, when that was. One of the times was last Easter, and I had time in between going someplace, and I went down by the water and just sat there, and I was like, I need a moment here. Okay. And then like, oh, this is
Yes.
okay. That's how powerful it was. So when you do harness the power of meditation, it's so amazing when you can get to that. Have you ever had experiences like that where it's just like, whoa, okay, that was good. I needed that.
Yes, I was discussing that exact kind of thing with a friend of mine. We were talking about our very first meditative experience
Hmm.
where I went way out into the cosmos, into the stars, and just was amazed, first of all, that I could do it. And second of all, that the experience was so positive, so affirming, so beautiful that I wanted to
Hmm.
try again. So that was my very first experience. And I've had a lot of kind of not so nice experiences in meditation. Sometimes my mind will bring to my attention something that I need to bring that I've not been paying attention to. So as I'm paying attention, things are sort of floating by, and I'm realizing, okay, that needs attention, but just not right now.
Okay.
If I can say just not right now and let it float on, then trust me, you'll remember something if it's really, really that important. It'll come back to you. You don't have to stop your meditation or go down that rabbit hole following a thought that comes up. You can let that thought go.
Friends tell me this, that when they need to get an answer for something, they meditate.
Hmm.
I haven't done that yet. Maybe I've thought deeply in silence. Maybe I was meditating. I'm not really sure if I'd call it that. Um, do you find that works for you?
It does. I go into a meditation with a particular intention. So I
Okay.
start my day with intentions. This is my intention for that day. And then as I sit for my first sitting in the morning, I figure out what I'm going to really allow to come to me. My intention for that meditation. Sometimes the intention is just to be open to have nothing arise, if that's possible. Um, Other times it's like, yeah, I have a problem that I'm having. I need some clarity.
Mm,
I'm having difficulty making a choice, and then I'll just sort of sit back and see what arises in that meditation. And sometimes it comes in very clearly and very quickly. Sometimes it's visual. I can see colors or changing colors, kaleidoscopic kind of colors in my meditations.
mm,
Other times I'll see like ghost-like images of something, like a person. They don't look solid. They don't, that's not truly not them, but I know that there's something connected with them in that meditation. And I'm going right to left here with my right hand because that's how I see things in my meditation. They come in the right side and exit the left.
uh,
But yes, it
yeah.
works very well for me.
Thank you for sharing that because I see the same exact thing.
Okay.
That the colors, I'd have to think about that, but those shapes of something moving. It's black, but there's a flicker of white of something. I've experienced just what you said. Um, and I see it from left to right as well. Yeah. Are you? Yeah, maybe that's because that's the way we read. I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, mine actually go right to left,
yours go right to left.
right to
Oh,
left.
mine definitely left to right. Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
I've always seen, and in fact, when they say visualize the river, it's going towards the left, visualize. I'm always seeing movement towards my left side.
Now I'm going
So
to pay
that's
more
just
attention to that because I'm going in
okay.
my mind's eye, and I'm thinking I'm seeing it left to right. I could be wrong, but well, I got to
There's no
meditate.
there's
There's no wrong
there is
answer.
no wrong answer. Yeah.
Yeah, but
There's no right
I,
answer, there's
I
no wrong answer. Yeah.
I never paid attention to it till you mentioned it. It was like, hey, you know what? Maybe that's what's going on. I'd like to know. Um, I I wish I could find the answer more in meditating, and maybe I'm not getting into a deep enough state. Um, I always say, go with your gut. Your gut has the answer, but sometimes it's not easy pulling that out of your gut. Any suggestions if you need to find an answer? And I think we both agree the answer is within. It is.
It truly is. And, this works for me. You can certainly try this where you are in a spot where you get as silent as you possibly can. So I use bells just so I don't over meditate, if that makes any sense. I can go for an hour without stopping. So I try to put little demarcators like at 15 minutes, half an hour, 45. And then I know, oh, okay, I've heard two bells. I still have a half an hour left. So
Wow.
I can just kind of go really deep. So it takes me a few minutes to get settled. It really does. For even for as often and as much as I do meditate, there are 5 to 10 minutes sometimes where I need to just settle, and then things start to arise for me. But you can take a visualization. Let's say you've got two equally um, you're not sure. You've got two directions. They're sort of equal. You could choose A, you could choose B, but you just don't know which of the two is appropriate.
Hmm.
So you can close your eyes and watch for a gauge, like a gauge from 0 to 10. And you can say, okay, option one, what's the energy behind that? Is it a 10? Yes. Or is it I'm not sure? Or it's a definite no, like,
Hmm.
no. So I learned this technique from Jeffrey Allen. I use it very often when I need to make a decision, when I have choices to make. Then, of course, the second, bring it to mind, just sort of how would I feel being in that second choice? You visualize the gauge and see where it goes. In Seven Mindful Questions, the last question 7, there is a meditation attached to question 7 that takes you through, because
Hmm.
it's the alternative is number 7, which is the best alternative. So by having this technique of the gauge, and you don't stop at 2. Let's say you have two choices, but you're thinking, okay, A or B, but is there another choice that I could make that I haven't even thought of? So always ask threes, here are my two choices, but is there something else that I haven't thought of that might be better in this situation?
Hmm.
And typically when that happens, it's a real, neither one of these are anywhere, the first two choices were somewhere in the middle. They weren't really all that different. And then you ask for a third one, like, yes,
I
very
I
quickly. Yeah.
love I love that idea, Lisa. And I'm a big proponent. If you ask somebody a question, um, how do you feel about my shirt today? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being, yeah, I love it. It's a 10. One's like, man, it's okay. Meh. Uh, I find that works so well. Even myself, or just getting something out of somebody, well, you're getting something out of your mind during the meditation. So you're essentially doing a 10 scale, but it's on a meter. Now you have the visual of something changing, as you think about choice A and choice B. I can't wait to try that. I
Oh,
really
I'd love
can.
to know how that works for you.
Because
Yeah.
I do have a choice I have to make very soon about
Okay.
something. And
Okay.
I woke up today and I was leaning toward the no. It's a yes or a no. I was leaning toward the no. I don't know why. I just slept on it, and then I woke up and I just had this heavy, like, no, 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 but I'd like to try and back that up, to see if I really,
Sure.
have a good feel for it.
What you're describing, sleeping on something, is really important because your mind did work on that all night and it gave you an answer in the morning.
Well, interestingly, when I went to bed, my mind was working on a different situation,
Yeah.
completely different. But part of what I heard when I woke up was the answer to the question that I was asking, that it was unrelated. It was kind of weird. And I didn't sleep that well because I was thinking about this other situation. Um, So yeah, I mean the meter, again, it's a visual and we're all visual. So I think that's super powerful. Now you have something to work with in your mind, and you can't deny it. So, if you
Yes,
get like,
exactly.
right, so that's you have the proof of the scale in your mind as you meditate, whereby if you were just thinking, you might be thinking this, you might be thinking that, you might see some colors, it might not be crystal clear. Nothing's more clear than, a meter, a scale going back and forth.
Gauge.
Yeah,
Exactly.
gauge.
Yeah.
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 Hmm.
That's
Interesting.
that's one of my favorite techniques to teach. Yeah.
Ah, how do you, I mean, we're talking about meditation. How do you get into a meditative state? Do you think of something in particular? I have a friend that says, and she's very intuitive. Her way of getting into a meditation is she takes an elevator in her mind and the elevator opens up at the beach and she walks out onto the
Nice.
beach and that's how she gets there. That's her place to meditate in her mind on the beach, but she has to get there by using the elevator. Transportation, I guess. I don't know. Any visuals that you use? And I haven't tried hers yet. I don't know. Everybody's different, whatever works for you.
Exactly. Well, I like to visualize the number 8 for my breath. So as I inhale, the top part of the 8, and the exhale, the bottom part of the 8. And I use that number 8 when I'm particularly distracted by thoughts are coming in and I just want to focus on my breath. So it's, the infinity symbol on its side,
Hmm.
that inhale and exhale. And then as you start back up, inhale.
Yeah.
And it's just cyclical and comforting. And it's one of my favorite techniques.
That's like I guess the equation of somebody counting sheep. The old, counting sheep to go to
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah.
Wow.
That never really worked for me, the sheep thing,
Same.
but
Same.
breathing for sure. And breathing, I can breathe myself to fall asleep, just focus on my breath and I can sleep. And that came from working. I did a pharmacy job where I was 7 on, 7 off, working nights. So I had to sleep because I had to get up and work, in 12 hours. So that was a very that's when I learned the power of breath, is that you just focus on your breath and you can fall asleep, especially when you're really tired.
Well, something
Um,
just came out today. Literally just saw this and based on research. And it's for anybody that has trouble falling asleep. And they say thinking back to a happy memory might help you sleep, but you have to really, really try hard to put yourself there and recreate the experience. And they call it savoring. So
oh, interesting.
and I actually do that sometimes. Like I'll think a happy thought. And I just shared that with a friend today that who has trouble sleeping. And I was like, go to bed happy. Think of something positive.
That's exactly right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Where we started today, I don't know. You know, not always having the answer. And it's even been said, for salespeople, if you're in a sales situation and you're asked a question, don't bluff. Just say, I don't know, but I'm going to get back to you on that. I appreciate you
Exactly.
bringing that point up. It's probably one of the most powerful things you can do. I'm not a salesperson, but what you can do in sales, because it shows your vulnerability. It shows that you're eager to get the answer for the other person. And there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know. Like, that's why I'm asking you questions about meditation.
Exactly. And that's really true in the consulting world too. When you have a customer that asks you a question, I've learned so much from dealing with my own customers. They ask me things that show that there is a different perspective than mine to look at a situation. And when you do tell them that you don't know and you find out to the best of your ability, you definitely need to close that loop and follow up and let them know that here's what I found out. This may not be fully the answer because this is not my area of expertise, but this is what I understand from researching it. So that way it at least gives them the ability to know that you are connecting with them as a person. And that's what's so important about group meditations,
Hmm.
is that when you're in a group, the most fun that I have when I go to Pittsburgh is I go to a big giant cathedral that's on Grant Street, which is downtown. It's the First Lutheran Church. They have a fancy choir that sings, and just being in a group of people all sort of doing the same kind of thing, prayer, it's just so uplifting. So I've started a practice of, when I do my group meditations, I'm asking the group to connect with one another energetically, say hello to everyone. And it really is an interesting experience, how it just sets the tone for the group meditation.
I can't imagine, having never been in one, doing a group meditation. Do you think it can be easier than trying to do it on your own?
Absolutely. Yes. Because first of all, there's somebody guiding it, giving you instructions, and you're following along. You're with a group and you get to hear other people's. Oftentimes, there are people who will definitely step up and give you their feedback. Others are somewhat reticent. But when you're first learning, it's great to do it with a group.
Wow. Interesting. I never thought that. I would think the complete opposite, because all these people around here, and now you're trying to get into a zone. So you're thinking about the others, maybe focusing on them, but I guess at some point you block them out.
Exactly. You're going to go into yourself and have your own experience, where I said that, the beginner's mind, you're coming to have an experience.
Wow. What was the other?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what was that other post-it on your door?
My other post-it, only don't know. There is nothing other than not knowing. Only don't know. That's Seong San, who was another Zen practitioner. And then I've got the one where it just cracked me up, because the whole house is in turmoil because I'm having work done. It says, my workplace is a peaceful haven.
Maybe not today.
Yeah, it says, I put love in every corner, and my environment lovingly responds with warmth and comfort. This is definitely a Louise Hay saying. So I don't know if you know who Louise is from Hay House, but
absolutely. It's so funny you should say that, because her name came up the other day. Haven't heard her name in forever. And it was Hay, her name, Louise Hay. And it's been so long that I said to the person, are we talking Hay House, the publisher? And they're like, uh-huh. And I have a really good friend that got published by her decades ago, And
congratulations. It's tough to get published by Hay House.
It was a long time ago, but it was one of the things that kind of started his career in the metaphysical healing energy field. Call it that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Isn't it funny?
So she says to put love in every corner of the house. So I think probably once the workmen leave for the day, I'll go through and sage everything, just to kind of let all that energy out. But yeah, big deal renovation. It's going to take 45 days. So.
Wow. Well, thanks for, I'm sure the workers are on lunch right now.
They told them, take your lunch break when I have to do the.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Learned a lot today. So, recapping, meditate with the gauge if you're trying to find the answer, 0 to 10. Use the 8 as you breathe.
Yes.
And remember to sage. Thank you for that reminder. I need to do that. I'm well overdue. And
and every Tuesday night I have a free group meditation. It's on Meetup, in the Orlando Wine Meetup group, because there's 2,000 people in there. I have a very good customer who said, please use my Meetup. And,
oh, wow.
And so, yeah, so it's there. It's online. It's through Zoom, and it'd be great if you joined us.
And along with that as well, you can find Lisa on your website, even if you have medication questions. I know we're pivoting from meditation to medication, but you have a long history, long background in the pharmaceutical world, where if anybody needs direction, maybe a loved one is taking meds and they have questions of conflicts or whatever it might be, it's not easy to get your doctor on the phone. We got you. The website is Lisa Nezneski. So that's Lisa, NEZNESKI.com, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Always great talking with you, Lisa. I appreciate everything today.
Thank you. This was great.
Yeah. I can't wait to try I'll be doing that tonight.
Okay.
Need an answer on something, but yeah. And look forward next time we get a chance to talk.
All right.
Thanks.
Me too.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.